Since I've been working remotely in tech for the past 6 years, and also I travel a lot, I put a lot of thought into not only the specific tech products that I bring with me when I'm traveling, but also just finding a balance where I'm not taking too much, but I still have that peace of mind that when I'm going from A to B, where I'm at destination, that I'm gonna be able to stay connected as efficiently as possible. I've been traveling like nonstop for the past 2 months, and I've also had the chance to test out some newer things in the tech world. Figured I'd share kind of like my system as well as the things that I'm always taking with me and some of the things that are more dependent on the type of trip that I'm bringing that I find to be like a worthwhile use of space inside my bag. So let's get into it. Holistically, the system that I've found has worked best for me and just like has sparked the most joy when I'm traveling is carrying a personal item size backpack. In this case, I'm going to be talking about the Pioneer Carry Panda Pack, which is one of my absolute favorites. I'm not going to get into the details of the bag. I'll link below a dedicated review that I did on it. But I just got back from a trip with it, and I think for like carrying tech essentials is incredibly functional in that way. So I'll take that, a sling, and then my carry-on suitcase. If I'm traveling internationally with a wife and kids and I need to carry around passports and boarding passes, because oftentimes we need to print them out, then I carry the sling with me so that I have quick and easy access to the passports and those things. And then when I'm just doing like a more chill domestic travel, the sling will go either in my suitcase or my backpack, but it's more of a when I'm at destination, it gives me the flexibility of like, hey, if I'm gonna need to take something like a water bottle or my laptop, layers, things like that, or I'm gonna be out for a while, got the backpack. But for just quick walks around, going to places where I'm not gonna be there for a long time and I don't need my laptop, tablet, or water bottle, then I bring a sling with me. And in this video, I'll be talking about the Black Ember TKX, which is a compact sling that, and this has been like the year of slings. There's been so many good slings out, but I've been really enjoying this guy. And since I'm already talking about it, I figure I'll start here. And what I like to avoid is having to constantly think about what do I need from this bag to put into my sling and vice versa. So with the exception of my AirPods, pretty much everything else stays in here. So sunglasses, that's not tech, so I won't talk about it, but I really like this magnetic flap. I'm gonna be doing a review on this soon, but this is a video about tech, so I won't talk too much about it. The one other thing I will say about the sling that I really enjoy is it reminds me of the Simple Commuter. They're like tech caddy, but when you open it up, it's got this kind of like gusseted accordion style opening, and just everything is there for what I carry. It's perfectly compact while still offering like the easy access and the organization that I look for in a sling. And tech-wise, really the main things that I'm carrying in here are one, this INIU Mac Pro P76, which is a magnetic charger. You have a little stand on here, which has become practical a number of times, but ultimately like magnetic charging is not going to be as quick as just direct to USB-C, but it's very convenient. The nice thing about this one, it actually comes with, I removed it, but I actually have it here, with a short USB-C like lanyard that just loops into it. And so if you want to charge your phone really quickly, you can plug it in and then you get 45-watt charging. And if not, you can just like, connect it to the back of the phone and you're good to go. But with this thing, it's nice because it's really slim, doesn't weigh much. They actually also make their SnapGo P73, which is essentially the same thing. I wanted to compare them because there is a $20 difference, and really the main difference between the two is that on the more expensive one, which is this one, the battery indicator tells you the exact percentage of where the battery's at, which I really like. The other one is just like a dog paw print that lights up blue, and it, I think there's like 5 different stages of the battery. So I think for probably 95% of people, that $20 difference isn't worth it just to have that. But yeah, if you're trying to compare between the two, I don't know if they're going to phase out the paw print one. I have both, and really performance-wise and build quality-wise, everything else remains about the same. It is nice though having, at least for me, knowing exactly how much battery is left. Now, the magnetic option has come in practical a lot of times where I'm like, I don't want something connected to it. It kind of limits the usage or needing a longer cable. So I appreciate having that flexibility. If you're looking for an incredibly compact power bank solution, another great option is the INIU Pocket Rocket, like P50, 45 watts, so fast charging, also 10,000 milliamps capacity, similar to the magnetic one. But if you compare it to AirPods, it's pretty much like two AirPods, one above each other. The only downside of this INIU is that it doesn't like stand on its own, which is not like a huge deal, but it's like I keep forgetting that it doesn't, and oftentimes I just like place it standing. And then other than that, tech-wise, like I said, the only thing that swaps over from one or the other is just my AirPods. That I'll just throw in this like little mesh slip pocket, and then this tiny little flashlight by Wuben, the G5. It weighs like 50 grams. It is like the size of a Zippo lighter. It takes up such little space that even though, yes, absolutely, like your phone can be your flashlight, this thing has 400 lumens, so it packs quite a punch. Considering how small it is, I like that it's magnetic, so there's been a number of scenarios where I've just been able to like stick it onto something. And then there's like different little lights that you can rotate between, which it's kind of fun with the kids. You have a clip on here depending on where you want to store it, or like if you want to wear it. And then lastly, it's just like USB-C charged, which makes it super easy. Now, as far as like what I carry in my backpack, over-the-ear headphones like AirPod Maxes for when I'm traveling. I'm not going to get into the details of these because there's been a million reviews out on them. One thing I love about this Pioneer Carry Panda Pack is just how spacious and how much independent volume these two pockets have. So being able to fit my over-the-ear headphones in their own separate compartment without throwing them in the main compartment is something that I've reviewed a lot of bags, and it's incredibly hard to find a place where they fit comfortably like that. And then my go-to mobile power bank, which I've talked about before, if I could only take one power bank with me, period, it would be this one, the Anker 3-in-1 Nano. And while it is definitely, like compared to the magnetic one, a little bulkier, a little thicker, what I absolutely love about this thing is that it has an integrated USB-C cable, which that's not a big deal. That's pretty much like table stakes for so many power banks. All the INIU ones come with like detachable ones, but it's the fact that it has the integrated charging prongs. So oftentimes like your battery might be low, you might be like not even back home where you have your charger or whatever it may be, just having that peace of mind that you could plug it in anywhere. You could actually technically have it plugged in, have it charging, and then do pass-through charging where you can like plug your phone in simultaneously, killing two birds with one stone. But just not having to think about, do I have the cable and the outlet, and it's just like more steps in the process. I end up getting lazy, and that friction keeps me from using the power bank as much as possible. Here, it's like I know it's so easy to charge that it like rewards me to use it, if that makes any sense. My only like nitpick, what would keep it from being just like my perfect power bank, is the cable itself. And I'll talk about right now like what I'm comparing it with, but if this was retractable, because the whole point of this loop is also so you can like easily carry it, which I guess it's kind of nice, but I really don't care too much about it. Whenever I'm storing it, if I want to put it in like a slip pocket of a backpack or a sling or something along those lines, I always have to kind of like fandangle with the cable, or like it just kind of gets in the way and creates clutter, which you already know I'm crazy and I do not love. Flashlight wise, Wuben, they actually just recently came out with this guy, which is the E8. I'll talk about that in a second, but really between the two, I still prefer their X4 flashlight. And this is, as like the build quality, it reminds me of RoboCop, but just insane build quality. It has a bit more functionality. It weighs almost twice as much as the G5, but like has 1500 lumens, so more than 3 times the output. And yeah, I mean, this thing is super, super bright. You have a few different modes on it as well. But yeah, with it being winter, when I'm like out taking my kids to the park, things like that, it always gets dark, so I bring this thing along with me everywhere. And then there's like a little kind of like lantern style mode with different lights on it as well. I will say with the E8, that they just came out with. See, that's kind of like their lantern mode. But yeah, with the E8, it's not as powerful. It's like 1300 lumens, but really like when I'm comparing them distance wise, the overall reach of this one is significantly more. But this one has kind of like this lantern mode, which oftentimes I don't need like a full-on flashlight. I just need to create like ambient lighting to light up the space without it being too intense. And then you have these like magnetic light diffusers. It comes with a number of different colors. I really like this kind of like old school tulle translucent yellow. Beyond the lantern mode, also USB-C rechargeable, only that you have to take out the battery and plug the battery directly into USB-C. But yeah, you have a few different modes. This one has a UV light, which for most people, it's like, what would you need it for? It's fun to play around with my kids. Also, like my dog, she's getting a little older and starting to like pee a little bit more in the house. So this helps me find those things, but it's got a cool shape. And of course you get a flashlight with different brightness modes, etc. All in all, this one, like I dig the look and kind of the form factor, but functionality wise, and then when you compare them pricing wise, I think between the two, like if I could only take one, I would take this one. I also really love the fact that it has on the bottom, like a little thing that you just hold it down for whenever you need light and turn it off. Because sometimes when it's like dark, you're trying to find the button. It's just so easy to use that as well. So beyond that, where most of my tech lives is just in my tech pouch, which is the Evergoods Cap 1. Starting off with like the absolute most essential is the Anker 100 watt prime GAN charger. And essentially this is the only charger that I would need on the go or at destination. I can plug my laptop directly into it. You get 2 USB-C slots and then just a regular USB one on there. And then another really nice thing beyond the build quality is fantastic, and it's just so compact for a 100 watt charger. Like even the newest like laptop chargers are not as practical as this, but it's the fact that when you stick it into the outlet, it grips on incredibly well. So even though it takes a little bit more effort to unplug it, it's just nice having that security. Now, I typically carry a second one as a backup / if my wife forgets hers, or there's times where we just need chargers in 2 different parts of the house simultaneously. And historically for me, that's just been the Anker like 45 watt nano charger. And Anker recently came out with this smart display charger, which is also 45 watts. I think for a lot of people, they're like a screen on a charger. Like I get it, you know, I'm also in that camp of like they're putting screens on everything, but I did want to test it, and especially because right now there's like a $4 difference between this one and the non-screen version. Out of all the things I'll talk about, this one's like pretty new. I've only tested it for a few weeks, so I can't speak to the long-term reliability of it, but I have used Anker for many, many years, and in my experience, their warranty has been fantastic. But ultimately, I would spend $4 more for this one than the old one. And the most important reason for me is that it has adaptive charging, which effectively means it can adjust the speed at which it charges based off of where your battery's at, right? It comes with 2 modes that you can toggle between. There's the auto mode, and then there's the care mode, which essentially charges it 9 degrees lower or around there compared to most other 45 watt chargers. And so like when you're getting a new phone for the first time, I really like the idea of just preserving my battery as much as possible. I have an iPhone 15 Pro, and I mean, we're at like the 17. I haven't even had it for 3 years, and like my battery is already abysmal, and a big reason why I need to carry things to keep me charged. 2 other kind of cool things is the prongs themselves. You can plug it in this way as well as this way to kind of ensure that the screen is always like looking at you. You can adjust the rotation of the screen depending on how you plug it in. There's a few things about it that are more gimmicky than anything. I think they're just trying to take advantage of the fact that they have a screen, like little like robot orb mode that just kind of plays around. I had fun with it with my daughter for a few minutes. It also tells you what device you're connecting it to, which that I honestly do not care about. I know it's my phone or I know it's my tablet. But one thing that is cool is that when you have it plugged in on the screen, it actually shows you like the percentage of where your battery's at. So instead of you having to like look at your phone to see where it's at, if you're not plugging it overnight, it's nice to at least like have that little indicator. So we'll see. Curious what people think about this one, but given the very small price difference, I think having those, like the adaptive auto mode as well as the care mode, is a nice little value add. Then as far as cables go, I really like this guy. This is the Ugreen like 100 watt retractable cable, and it has like 4 different lengths, but is someone that is a little bit of a serial killer with cable management, like my brain's well-being is very quickly negatively impacted when I start seeing like loose cables, danglage. And so with this, it is really like the most practical solution for avoiding that. As far as like carrying size, it's super practical. You can throw it in the pocket of a backpack or in a tech kit. And then just, for example, like when you want to control the length of it so that it's not, you're not using too much or too little. When I was on the plane and I had my tablet, I was watching something, it needed battery, and just being able to like plug it in, it had one of those back of the seat charging ports, and then just being able to get it exactly at the length that I wanted without there being like a lot of loose cable hanging around. Always nice to have a second cable as well. And so this is like an Anker, like 240 watt cable. Won't talk too much about the cable, but if you're kind of like me and you like thrive off of clutter-free cable managed situations, another nice little solution that I found, I'll link it below, but they're these magnetic silicone ties that I bought on Amazon. They're like super cheap. But yeah, instead of having to deal with Velcro, or I've tried a few different ones, the magnet could be a teeny bit stronger, especially when you're like dealing with like thicker cables. But yeah, this works really nicely, and it's super satisfying way to keep your cables managed. And then the other 2 small things that I'll keep in my tech pouch is this Lightning to USB-C adapter. And it's tiny, so the only thing really in my whole tech ecosystem that is still not USB-C are my AirPod Maxes, as well as my Magic Keyboard that I rarely travel with. But it's crazy, like even the newer like Touch ID keyboards, they still haven't moved over to USB-C. But yeah, instead of having to take an additional cable with me, I just use this guy right here. The only downside is it just doesn't charge as quickly as direct to cable, but it's still worth it. And then I just have like a little Anker adapter for my SD card when I'm traveling, because I don't have an SD card on my MacBook. Apple tech-wise, I'm not gonna get like too into it because it's just like, I'm just a basic Apple B. This is like an iPad Air 4th generation. This is my in-flight entertainment. And also I use it as a second monitor wirelessly with my MacBook. I've thought about getting one of those like travel portable monitors because I'm a big monitor guy and I feel a little crippled when I'm traveling. But having the like iPad functionality and being able to use it as a second monitor seamlessly without having to plug it in, I don't know if I want to carry iPad plus monitor plus laptop. And then laptop, this I didn't have a choice. It was just like a MacBook Air 14-inch that I got from my company, but if it was my choice, my wife has like the 13-inch version of it. That's what I would go with. And then the last 2 things that pretty much come with me on every trip, unless it's like a very short trip, are mouse, Logitech MX3. They just came out with a 4, which hopefully I'll be getting. I've had like every generation of these. Is it the most compact, like travel-friendly mouse? No, but it's just one of those things that it fits my hand so delightfully. I actually need a mouse. I don't want to compromise. She's been all too good for me, so it's just like worth taking something a little bulkier for me. But the other thing is just like a laptop specific power bank. I'm going to talk about 2. This is the one that I've been using the most. It's the Anker 165 watt laptop battery bank. You get up to like 165 watts of charging off a single device, 100 watt like single if you're doing multiple devices. The total capacity is like 25,000, so like 2.5 times more than the rest of the power banks. Build quality is insane. The actual screen, like the different, you can see like the temperature, battery health. People that geek out on these infographics will love that. I honestly don't care too much about it, but it's just kind of like a nice to have. What really makes this so awesome is this retractable USB-C cable. Works kind of like a measuring tape, right? You can do different distances, and I wish that the 3-in-1 had something like that. The only nitpick that I have with it is that it comes with a second USB-C cable that's also integrated. It cannot be removed, but I really just want one that's integrated. This kind of loop also can kind of get in the way. And then the second thing is the way that it kind of like attaches to this, it's like pretty easy for it to come undone. And that just drives me a little crazy. It is nice. You know, there's times where I'm like charging my phone or my tablet alongside my laptop, and just having the two already there is great. I just still, if I had my choice, I mean, I've literally thought about cutting this cable off, but I am not. Anyways, this is a fantastic option, but one other one that I definitely want to mention as well is the INIU P63 Cougar. In terms of like the infographics, there's nothing to it. It's just the battery indicator. Compared to the other INIU products, I did notice that the brightness of the indicator, like the contrast, was not as striking. So it's like if there's a lot of light, it's not as easy to tell, but not a huge deal. But this thing, if you compare it to this, you get a max of 110 watt charging instead of the 165. Also 100 watt single charging when you're charging multiple devices. They have the same like capacity, but this thing weighs like 390 grams. The Anker weighs like almost 600 grams. So it is almost half the weight of this one. The dimensions, it's a little thinner. It is like 3/4 the height of this one. And also cost wise, it costs about half as much. So this is a really cool charger, and the retractable cable is a reason why I keep going back to it. But this thing, the 165 watts, it's still like pretty much overkill for most people, unless like you're crazy creative, you're charging your laptop and a camera and a tablet, or 2 laptops at the same time. Like you can charge 2 laptops simultaneously with this thing just fine, and at about half the cost. So if you value getting something that's both cost effective and also practical, and that's like very compact, this is a fantastic option. But if you're kind of like a tech geek, you like the retractable USB-C cable, you like to see a few infographics as your devices are plugged in, and you also appreciate just products with like a really premium build quality, I think that's where you see like a big difference. Not to say that the INIU looks cheap, but you know, the Anker definitely looks and feels significantly more premium. Now, the next things I'll talk about are things that don't come with me on every trip, but there's specific places that I go or lengths of overall travel where they're absolute no-brainers to bring with me. Okay, so if I am traveling internationally, my go-to adapter is the Epica 40 watt Air. I've tried some of like the cheaper Amazon ones, and they just feel kind of cheap. The prongs, the ones that I've tried, just feel kind of loose and flimsy. In relative to like the power output, they are pretty bulky. And it's one of those things, especially when I'm traveling internationally, I want the peace of mind that my adapter is going to work. The main thing is it's really slim, and then within it you have type A, type C, type I, and G, like essentially like all of the countries that you would very likely travel to. Like look up what those types have you covered for. But yeah, it's really clever engineering how they have the different prongs to open and collapse right into place, making like the best use of space. Now, 2 other ones that are newer by Epica are their 45 watt Pulse Duo, as well as the 65 watt. They have like the Pulse Duo and then the regular Pulse. Between the two, I would actually go for the 65 watt just because, you know, I think when traveling, I would take this guy and then the smaller one, the other one for my wife, and then also this one for charging something like a laptop is going to charge quicker. For both of them, by the way, you have integrated USB-C ports. This one actually comes with 3 and 1 regular USB one, and then this one is 2 of them are USB-C, 1 specifically for laptops and then 2 USB ones as well. it covers you, EU, US, Australia, UK, like all the different places. And with this one, it's just these little slider mechanisms to access the different ones that you might need. And they feel super premium. And then they all come with like little travel cases. Honestly, with something like this, I don't mind just throwing it in my bag, but if you're the kind of person that you like a little compartment in a compartment within a compartment for everything, you'll appreciate the little pouches that it comes in. If you actually made it this far into the video, if there's any like tech products that like bring a lot of joy to your life, add value that I haven't talked about in this video, I'm always like exploring new things, throw a recommendation on there. I'm gonna be giving away the 45-watt Pulse Duo for my favorite recommendation. And then another thing that I also want to give away is INIU sent me this by accident, but they said just keep it. And I'm experiencing like consumption overload. It's giving me a little bit of anxiety. Starting a YouTube channel as someone that is more on the minimal side hasn't been healthy in that way. Well, yes, like it is nice to receive products that I don't have to pay for in exchange for my honest opinions on them. I also hate having things that I'm not using or needing and like just having to sell them. Anyways, I'm gonna also give this guy away, which is their 20,000 milliamp like fast charging power bank. It's somewhere in between this one and this one, essentially. It has capacity closer to this one. Anyways, moving on. All right, this is where it gets a little funny because I'm talking about minimalism, but these are more like comfort related things that it depends on the trip. But one is the 3rd gen of the Theragun Mini. I actually just like forgot I had this little neoprene travel case, but for people that like a little case for when they travel. This one I take with me when I'm going on a very long trip. Like the older I get, like airplanes destroy my back, and honestly, it really doesn't weigh that much. It's very compact. Like just, this is an adapter, for example. And like bulk wise, it is like the adapter plus a little bit more, you know, like it's like an adapter plus an AirPod. And yeah, it comes with 3 different modes, like 3 different intensities. USB-C charging, and then it has like 3 different heads. I just keep the one that it comes with. I've been meaning to try out the different ones, but it's like really a game changer being like in the plane, and it's doing what I wish my wife would do, but I don't blame her. She does a lot with the kids. And also at destination, you know, it's super nice. Now the other 2, well, it's really just one, but I'm filming this right now in the basement. It's cold, it's like the middle of winter, but this is more for the people that are traveling to warmer places during the winter time, or you're just like watching this video when it's not winter. But yeah, JisuLife, they are like the kings of neck fans. I will gladly admit that I have made fun of people in the past that wore neck fans. And then my wife bought this guy for Disney when we went last year with our kids. And yeah, we were in Orlando and it was exactly what you would imagine, just no shade, scorching hot, like standing in line on asphalt. And I was cooking and my wife wasn't using it. I was like, all right, let me just give it a shot. And also USB-C rechargeable. I think right now the battery is actually dead on this one because I haven't charged it in a long time because like haven't needed it. But it has like a bladeless technology. There's 4 different modes on it, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, the battery lasts like a surprisingly long amount of time. I had it like fully blasting on my neck for, I want to say like 5 hours at Disney before it finally died. And then like I could get like one of my mobile power banks to recharge it, and it was great. Now, I warn you, this thing is very likely going to be your gateway drug into the world of neck fans. JisuLife recently came out with, I mean, this thing is intense looking. I'm gonna say that, but this is for the one you just don't care, right, about like what people think anymore. This one's a little bit more casual, but this guy right here is the Neck Fan Pro. Like full price, it's 90. I want to say right now on the website it's like 56. This one's like 33. I think for most people this is going to be golden, but yeah, there's a few quality of life improvements. One is that the actual power on this thing is really intense. But instead of it being like different like intensity levels, you can just, with this thing, instead of like pushing the button, just scroll essentially to the exact percentage of where you wanted to absolutely like micro fine tune your comfort level. I do really like that. Also, like battery indicator tells you the exact number of percentage of where it's at. Whereas this one, it's just like one of 3 or one of 4 lights to tell you where the battery's at. And then the other thing that's like super nice about this one is that you have these like malleable rubber pads here that go on the back of your neck. But beyond that, the other one is not adjustable. Here, you can like twist it to get it as tight or loose as you want to accommodate your neck, so it's like really not moving. Whereas this one, it's looser, so it just kind of like sits here. So you're not getting like maximal airflow to the neck here, because you can tighten it. You can have it so it like sits up higher, and you're gonna look a little bit intense, yes, but you're gonna be the one judging other people that are less comfortable than you. So yeah, this thing's an absolute game changer. The one other JisuLife product that I'll talk about, which is, all in all, I still prefer these because you're completely hands-free, and that's invaluable. But this guy's just a lot more versatile. This is their Ultra 2, like handheld fan. Intensity wise, compared to the neck fans, it's like, I mean, this thing's like a freaking, do you hear that? That's at, you hear that, how loud that is? That's at 85. That's at 100. So this is like, yeah. Feels freaking great. It is a lot more intense. I've actually used this on my grill. I have a Kamado Joe, like a ceramic grill, and like to get the coals hot quickly, I'll like blow this thing at it and it just nukes the coals. But versatility wise, even though you're sacrificing the hands-freeness of the neck fans, let me turn this off so you can actually hear me. You also get a flashlight. And then you also, this acts as a mobile power bank. So you can get a USB-C cable and plug your phone to it. And then beyond that, it comes with a few different attachment types for, you know, for the air. So you can like fill up like a camping air mattress with this thing, or just make it so that the air is like, you know, coming out in different patterns or whatever. So yeah, it's got that multi-functionality that I think a lot of people will appreciate. And honestly, the build quality is really impressive on this thing. I've said build quality like a lot. I need a new word for build quality. I'll chat GPT that after the video. Yeah, and the flashlight has like different brightnesses as well. So a jack of all trades, master of none, if you will. Yeah, and I guess the last thing that I'll just include on here is just the Suri electric toothbrush. This is the first version of it, and the second version actually just came out, and because of that, the first version is now like pretty heavily discounted and costs like half as much as the second version. Looking at the head now, yeah, I definitely need to replace it, but you can get it with this travel case, which candidly I don't use a lot, but I think a lot of people will if they want to just protect their phone. You can charge it via USB-C, like pretty much everything else that I've talked about here. And then it has like a little UV light to clean it, sanitize it while you're charging it. But the battery on this thing lasts for freaking ever. So if I'm going on a trip and I'm there for 2 weeks or less, I don't even think about bringing this. I just charge it before I go. It usually lasts me like a month before I have to recharge it. But anything more than 2 weeks, just for my peace of mind, you can either bring the case or it comes included with like a little base pad that you charge it. It takes up less space. And there you have to like plug it into a charging cube, not directly USB-C. But what I love about this thing is that even though it's maybe not at the level performance-wise of an Oral-B or a Sonicare, the compact factor of this thing, like it fits in my DOP kit, and I have a pretty compact DOP kit. The fact that the battery lasts forever, and it's got like a regular mode, and it also has like the blue, like a deep cleaning mode as well. And I'm pretty lazy when I brush my teeth. I know it's better for my gums if I use an electric toothbrush as a lazy brusher of thy teeth. And yeah, just size relative to performance is fantastic, and they're all about sustainability. I want to say they're made in the UK, and I had a little issue at one point where the head, it would come off like a little bit easier than I would have liked, and they literally, you know, within like 24 hours responded, sent out a new head, and just had me like, you know, send the other one, I think more just for like recycling purposes. So anyways, holy shit, that was a lot. I probably missed something, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Best of luck and cheers.